Welcome back. 14 members of the United Nations Security Council condemning President Trump's decision to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Deadly clashes between Israelis and Palestinians this weekend. President Trump's announcement also included plans to begin moving the U.S. Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, a process Secretary of State Rex Tillerson says would take at least 2 years. Congressman Pete King says this: the decision was not easy and there is no guarantee of success, but it was the right move at the right time. The congressman joins me right now. He is a member of the Intel and Homeland Security Committees. And Congressman King, it is always a pleasure to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Maria. Maria, can I just say at the start, I agree with everything Attorney General Mukasey said. I think there have been mistakes in this investigation, but I think the worst thing the president can do right now is to remove Mueller, not because he's doing such a great job, but the president's lawyers are confident this is going in the right direction. I don't want to give the Democrats, the media, an opportunity to blow this up and come up with another phony issue.
I totally understand that.
I just had to get that in.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you did, and I totally understand what you're saying. But the bottom line is, Congressman, it's getting really old to constantly hear Robert Mueller call people into his office to interview Hope Hicks. Right. Really? Come on. Donald Jr., all of these interviews, and then the media speculates as if there's this major Watergate scandal going on, when everybody knows if there was any collusion between Donald Trump and the Russians, it would have been leaked a year ago.
Yeah, I was at the interview with Donald Trump Jr., and I can tell you he answered just about every question. The ones he didn't were for very precise technical reasons. Nobody listening to that interview could come out of that thinking there was any collusion at all. This is totally phony, but I don't want to give them a chance to talk about another Saturday night massacre, another special counsel, and drag it on. If the president's lawyers are confident it's going in that direction, I think it's better to just go along with it right now and get it wrapped up and over and done with.
I totally understand that, but people also want to see justice on the other side, Congressman. We know Cheryl Mills got immunity and she lied to the FBI. We know Huma Abedin lied to the FBI, and we know Loretta Lynch told her deputy, Jim Comey, running the FBI, to call a criminal investigation a matter. People want to see justice, Congressman.
I agree with you totally, and I'm on the committee investigating the uranium deal. And I believe that once the collusion issue is out of the way, we can really focus on everything that happened in the Hillary Clinton investigation, why Comey did what he did, why there were attorneys and investigators involved in that, with such a pro-Clinton bias, what happened with Cheryl Mills, what happened with Huma Abedin. But it would be a lot easier to get that message out once we get this collusion phony issue out of the way.
So you think, you're on the committee overseeing the uranium investigation, you think we're going to get into that in 2018 then?
Oh, it's already started. I can tell you it started. Yeah, we've started. We're talking. We're doing the background. We're going to be talking to witnesses. Yes, this is going ahead.
Okay. Let's move on to the other big story this past week, and that is the president recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Here's what he said. Listen to this, Congressman.
It would be folly to assume that repeating the exact same formula would now produce a different or better result. Therefore, I have determined that it is time to officially recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Consistent with the Jerusalem Embassy Act, I am also directing the State Department to begin preparation to move the American Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem.
So there you go. I understand the reasoning. I mean, 2 presidents before President Trump have said they would do this, and they never did it. As you just heard Kevin McCarthy say, they voted on it, certainly even in the Senate. They voted to move the embassy, and it was never done. My only question is, Congressman, why now? The president has so much on his plate right now. You've got North Korea in one corner, ISIS in another, a tax plan hanging in the balance. Why did he have to do this today?
I think the president feels he can always work with the full court press. He can do many things at the same time. And I think it was the right thing to do because, first of all, the peace process, there is none right now. It's a total impasse. If there's one at all, it's stagnant. It's the status quo. Nothing is happening. And there is violence. I think this will help. This could help to jumpstart the peace process. Also, if you notice, there's been a very muted reaction from the Arab governments. I know they have to make some pro forma statements, but listen, they would much rather have President Trump playing an active role in the Middle East that what went on during the Obama years, where Iran was built up, Israel was sold out, the government in Egypt was overthrown, President Obama withdrew his pledge in Syria. He put people like King Abdullah on the line to support us in Syria. Then he invited the Russians in instead. So, no, listen, on balance, this is the right thing to do. There's no guarantee it's going to work. But I really think that something was needed to be done to let the Palestinians know, yes, we are standing strongly with Israel, but we are willing to be an honest broker. And for these European countries that complain about us somehow upsetting the peace process, what have they done for the peace process over the last 50 years? France and Germany, what have they done?
Well, that's a really good point. And by the way, on the peace process conversation, I just got back from Saudi Arabia, and I couldn't believe the mentality and the sentiment in Saudi about stomping out terrorism. I mean, the Crown Prince, future king, told me directly, we're going to get extremists down to 5% of this country in the next couple of years. Then he turns around and he arrests all of these princes, royal family members, who he says got their money, fraudulently because they were funding terrorists. So, and then to hear the Crown Prince align Saudi with Israel, Congressman, that's pretty stunning.
Yeah. Nobody would have thought 20 years ago that you would have so many prominent Arab leaders, both openly and very much behind the scenes, working with the Israelis. Right now, the Saudis, the Jordanians, UAE, Egypt, these countries are certainly far closer to Israel than they've ever been than anyone could have even anticipated years ago.
Congressman, before you go, I got to ask you about taxes. You voted no on the tax plan. You just heard Kevin McCarthy. He said, no, you're not talking about $10,000 for property taxes and another $10,000 cap for state and local income. He says it's one $10,000 property cap, and that's going to, he's hoping to be able to put toward property or state and local income. I know we're getting into the weeds a little here, but what would it take for you to vote yes on a final bill?
If they can get that to 20,000, use the 10,000 on both. And I tell you, I'm right now calling on the president. If he can meet with the New York Republicans on this issue, take one final shot. He's a New Yorker. He's the guy from Queens. He's the guy who understands what this is about. So, Mr. President, we would love to sit down with you. Lee Zeldin, Dan Donovan, Elise Stefanik, John Faso, and I would love to have 10 minutes of your time to get this resolved.
Would Kevin McCarthy just said he's trying to get the top rate down. He wants to get the top rate now at 39.6. He wants to get it to 35%. That's what he's pushing for this upcoming week as he deals with his colleagues in the Senate. Would that offset enough for you?
Not really. That wouldn't affect the. Listen, I'm not opposed to that. But having said that, I want to make sure that the middle-income voters and constituents in my districts don't get hurt badly on SALT the way they would be.
Of course. Congressman, it's great to see you as always. Thanks so much.
Maria.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas to you.